Uintah, you'll have Cale Wilkins as pitcher. And in that last inning, he had a little bit of trouble, obviously letting the Dons score 5 runs. We'll see if he can tighten things up here in the bottom of the third. Up to bat is Taya Newman for the Dons. He's averaging a .375 on the season. There's a hit right over the pitcher. Looks like it bounced off his glove. That'll give him enough time to get to first. Think about going to second, but he will stop short. A wise decision by Newman.
The second baseman, number 5, Andrew Pintal.
And Andrew Pintal will step up to the plate. Number 5. To take his first crack at bat. Pintar not averaging a particularly high batting average. That one popped up real short. They'll get it to first in time. However, that will give Newman enough time to get to second base. And that may not have been planned. However, that will effectively go down as a sacrifice bunt, having swung for that one full speed, but it going right into the floor in front of him. But that will get his teammate to second, and they'll live with that with 1 out so far in this inning. And there's what looks like could have been a sacrifice bunt. However, we'll go into foul territory. So Davis Moon will, Higginson will head back to the plate with the count now 0-1. That one low. Almost in the dirt. That will bring the count to 1-1. Higginson not averaging a particularly high batting average. However, he has 8 runs so far on the season, finding a way to get on base. That will also bring Newman over to third, who looks to try and steal. However, he'll get back in time. So now it's runners on third and first. This is Moon getting ready for the next at-bat, which will be Brady Brook for the Spanish Fork Dons. Brook, one of the better hitters of the Dons team. Of course, that's easy to say with so many powerhouses on their team. He's averaging a .438 on the season with 28 runs already, which looks to be the highest of his team. That one was a ball, so the count now 1-0. Down thrown low for ball number 2. Brooks signaling to first baseman not to run. And that's another thing this Spanish Fork team is very, very good at, is stealing bases. They always look to be aggressive in that category, as that one flies in for ball number 2. Down low and to the left for ball number 3. So the count now 3-1 with 1 out. Davis looks a little off right now. See if he can get back on with this pitch. And this Spanish Fork team can really rack them up in a hurry when you get them going. And that one, well, it looks like it will be foul. However, may have been far enough for a home run otherwise, going over that right fence. Speaking of home runs, that would have been Brooks is second on the year. Down thrown low for ball 4, so he'll get to first. That'll make the bases loaded.
1 out walk. Batting for the Dons, shortstop number 3.
That'll bring
Argyle.
number 3, Tanner Argyle, to the plate. Tanner Argyle's not exactly the batter that you want at the plate in this situation. Again, one of Spanish Fork's best batters, averaging a .571 so far in the season. That one thrown to the right, or it looks like it was in the strike zone, just caught that corner. That will be strike number 1. Argyle averaging a .571 with 23 runs in the season. So not the type of batter you want to have in when the bases are loaded. This type of situation puts a lot of pressure on Davis as the pitcher, knowing that he can't really give up much here. Really anything he does will result, really in a mistake he does rather, that being one of them, a ball thrown too low into the dirt. Really any mistake that he does will probably lead to a run scored by the Dons. And that may lead to a couple if it's not caught. However, it looks like there's a good chance, and he does catch it. He will throw it back, but there'll be the tag, and it will be safe at third. So that'll be 1 run scored, as you saw there. That'll be Newman, and it looks like you missed it on camera. However, that was a very close call there at third. Slid in just under the catch, and there was some bickering there going on about whether he's safe or not.
The Dons, right fielder number 11, Cy Nielsen.
Regardless, as Cy Nielsen, number 11, comes to plate for the Dons. They'll have 1 more run on the scoreboard and still 2 runners on base. So the score now 7-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. That one low right for ball number 1. Or sorry, ball number 2, excuse me. That one hit high left. Looks like it will be over the fence in foul territory. Oh, and just inside, but not able to be caught. So that will simply be counted as a strike, bringing the count to 2-1. Cy Nielsen will step back up as Wilkins is ready to pitch. And as I was saying, situations like this are really hard for a pitcher because even when your outfield can help you out, if you have men on second and third, even with a catch, they can sometimes score, as we saw with that last play. So the count now 3-1. That one hit. It will be far and just. And that was an incredible catch. I almost didn't believe it. Fully laying out. So that will bring the inning to the close. And the score now is 7-2, advantage Spanish Fork. We'll take a quick break. Join us in a moment. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17's broadcast of this high school baseball game between your Spanish Fork Dons and Uintah. If you're just joining us, the score 7-2, advantage Dons. That last inning ending in a spectacular way. Murray for Uintah fully laying out in the left field to make that catch. That one hit far into foul territory and over the fence. So that'll be strike number 1. So that looks like it's Wilkins up to bat for Uintah. Now that last inning ended by a great catch, like I said, by Murray. And if that one wouldn't have happened, it could have been a very bloody inning. However, now only one run scored in that inning, the score 7-2. Still not looking good for this Uintah team. Or this is what the Spanish Fork does to teams. Now in low for ball number 3. The count now full, 3-2. Brock Beckstrom throwing it in for the strike. That will be a first quick out of the inning.
Batting for Uintah, pitcher number 8, Cale Wilkins.
And that'll bring up the pitcher, Cale, for Uintah. That one thrown just inside that strike zone. Looked a little low to me. However, that will be called for strike number 1. The count now 0-1. That one swung on for strike number 2. So Cale comes up, hoping to get a piece of that one. However, it's thrown way right. Count now 1-2. So far, 1 out in the inning here at the top of the 4th. And now thrown for strike number 3, so 2 outs already. Only 1 more needed to get Spanish Fork back on the offensive. And that's got to be hard if you're a team like Uintah, having such a hard time getting 3 outs against Spanish Fork rather than to have 2 quick outs here and be close to getting right back in that same position. It's really hard, especially when you're playing down, just the mental game, which is why you always want to see if you can come out early with some runs as a baseball team. And that one thrown wide as well, so that's 2 balls and 0 strikes so far for Brock Beckstrom. Down hit long and just past the fielder, so he'll get a chance at least to get to second. Let's see if he tries for third, but he'll stay. A wise choice.
Second baseman number 4, Cruz, late.
That'll bring Cruz to the plate, number 4. And Cruz averaging a .354 on the season with 15 runs. See what he can do here. Down thrown low and in the dirt. Luckily, no one in a very good position to steal a base right there. So he'll have plenty of time to get it back to his pitcher. Count now 1-0. And that one looked like it could be a pulled swing. And he says it is no swing, so that's 2 balls. 0 strikes so far. Down thrown low in the dirt for ball number 3. So with no strikes, Brock in a little bit of a precarious situation here. However, walking is obviously better than getting a clear hit. And that one thrown in for strike number 1. So not letting the pressure get to him, Brock throws in his first strike. And as I was saying, it's always great to get ahead as a baseball team. Playing from behind can be so hard mentally, especially when hits aren't coming as fast as you'd like them to. Down thrown in for strike number 2. So the count now full. Brock working his way back from behind. And that's why I was a little surprised when Uintah came out to take a 2-0 lead, but since then it's been the Dons all the way. Down hit high. And now they're throwing into first base. Looks like they didn't, or sorry, to home plate. They did not get there in time. So that'll be another run brought in for Uintah. That one coming courtesy of Davis. And that one just a great play by Davis. He recognized that they were a little confused, trying to pick between going to first base or trying to get him out at third. He took the advantage and ran all the way home for another run. And that one looks like it hit, might have hit the umpire. It will be a strike regardless. And they'll take a second to talk it out of the mound. Hoping they can close this one out right now with a strikeout of Brandon Slaw, who's at the plate. That one hit, but it will be foul. Hitting high over our heads. That will be 2 strikes, 0 balls so far, and 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Down thrown for strike number 3. So with that, the top of the 3rd will come to an end on a strikeout by Brock Breckstrom. The score now 7-3. We'll take this moment to thank our sponsors, which are, of course, the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons, Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care, Mikkel Christensen Wise, attorneys at law, Two Jack's Pizza, and State Farm with Lance Wilson. These are the guys that make it possible for us to bring this to you every week, and for you to also see the replays. The replays, of course, are available on our social media platforms. Those are YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look for Spanish Fork 17 on any of those platforms, and you'll be able to find content from our broadcasts. That will be rebroadcasting and other things that will be put up there. Some of them not able to reach air. So follow that if you want to see this broadcast again. And getting back to the game, that last inning wasn't exactly a high-scoring inning for Uintah. However, it's nice to get one on the board after going through a short drought of 2 innings. Still down by 4. However, it's really important that you keep up the morale by getting those innings, but more importantly even than that, possibly, is making sure your score is high enough to avoid the mercy rule, as this Spanish Fork Dons team is very dangerous at inflicting. Down thrown low for ball number 1, so the count 1-0. And for Spanish Fork, up to bat right now is Briggs Newman. Briggs averaging a .429 on the season. That one thrown for ball number 2. That one hit just past the pitcher on a bounce. It'll go to the second baseman over to first in time for out number 1. Great play by Cruz LeBay, who was playing a little over to right field, but was able to get back in time to get that catch and to get that out. That one hit, also a bounce, over to the shortstop, over to first. They aren't calling it immediately, however, looks like they will call the out. So 2 in a row, that one really close. Don's getting a little lucky perhaps, but they'll need it here in the bottom of the 4th, down 4. So it's 2 outs already in the inning. That'll bring up Brendan Bradford. Or looks like Josh Cowden is up instead, changing the batting lineups. And another hit, that one a lot cleaner, over to right field and between the two fielders. They'll be able to get to it, but will they be in time to stop him at second? They will, but not to get him out. So that'll be Josh Cowden with a double.
Following a 2-out double.
And it looks like they'll be bringing in a pinch runner, number 13. That'll be Capel coming in as a pinch runner.
Running at second base, number 13, Carson Chapel.
And so Tay Newman, number 15, will be coming in to the plate. With 2 outs already, there might be a little bit of pressure on Newman. However, with the runner on second, he doesn't need too much to help his team. And that one could be enough. However, it's really high. Enough time for the fielders to get underneath it, and they caught it. So that will bring the bottom of the 4th to a close. The score now 7-3, advantage Dons. Join us in a minute, and we'll get you the rest of this matchup between your Dons and Uintah. See you on the other side. Welcome back to SF17's broadcast of this high school baseball game between the Spanish Fork Dons and Uintah. You see the umpires talking out there a little bit. And right now the score is 7-3, advantage Dons. See the coach of the Dons heading back to the dugout as we get underway here. So far we've seen a great matchup. The Uintah team showing a lot of resilience so far, letting the Dons break free a little bit in that second inning. However, besides that, playing very well defensively. That one hit to the second baseman, will be thrown to first, and that one will be clearly out. So one quick out for the Dons. That'll bring up number 14, Dylan Olson. Dylan being one of them who helped with those runs in the first inning. He hit that one foul ball for strike number 1. Olson having 6 runs so far in the season. Now coming inside for ball number 1, so the count now 1-1. Down thrown low in the dirt for ball number 2. Down thrown, or hit rather, into foul territory. Count now at 2-2. And Brock, like so many pitchers, seems to be a little bit of a streaky one. He'll get in his groove and throw a few good outs or a few good innings, and then he'll have some bad throws. Like that one actually probably would have been a ball, but swung on. That will be now the second out of the inning.
Shortstop, number 5, Nick Henley.
That'll bring up number 5, Nick Hinlin, a senior for Uintah. That one thrown in for strike number 1. So Beckstrom not wasting any time here. That one thrown, hit, will get caught by the shortstop, and he'll throw to first, not in time. Oh, it was in time. He calls an out.
At the end of 4.5, the score, the Spanish Fork
So at the end of 4.5 innings, the score will now be Spanish Fork 7, Uintah 3. And we'll take this break between innings to thank our sponsors. They are, of course, the Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons, Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care, Mikkel Christensen Wise, attorneys at law, and Two Jacks Pizza, and State Farm, Lance Wilson. Check out these guys. They are providing excellent service to the Spanish Fork community area, both in supporting this broadcast as well as in supporting the community with their fine services. And as you look around, you see the camera guys that are also making this broadcast possible. Thank them for their hard work, as it is a very hot day today. I'd guess high 70s, maybe low 80s. Say hi to our camera crew. And that really does get tiring, folks. I've also worked camera a lot in my career in broadcasting, and it can get tiring at times. Anyway, back at the bottom of the 5th inning. That one thrown low for strike number 1. Or, sorry, thrown low for ball number 1. That wouldn't make sense. That one thrown in for strike number 1. So Wilkins evening up the count at 1-1. Down thrown wide right, almost got away from him. Over no danger there with no one on base. Wilkins having an earned run average of 1. And that one hit far to the left, will be caught. So that'll be out number 1 already.
Batting for the Dons, a left fielder number 1, Jackson Higginson.
So the left fielder, Jackson Higginson, coming in. He'll be up to bat. And as I was saying, Wilkins averaging a 1.56 earned run average on the season. Down thrown in for ball number 1. Down hit right to the pitcher. He's got a glove on it, but not able to catch it. He'll throw the first, and that will be another out. Quick play by the second baseman. And in situations like that, you really don't have much time to think. Once it hits your glove, you have got to be throwing it to first base, and he gets it there in time. Down thrown low in the dirt for ball number 1. However, 2 outs already in this inning. Wilkins got to be sitting comfortable right now. Down thrown. Looked a little low, but it will be strike number 1. The curve on that might have made it look a little further out than it was. Down hit over to first base. Well, if there's an easier out, I haven't seen it. So that will bring the 5th inning to a close. The score now 7-3, advantage Dons. If you'll stay with us, we'll get you the 6th inning in just a moment. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. If you're just joining us, you are watching the matchup of the Spanish Fork Dons versus Uintah High School. In this high school baseball game, we've seen a lot of runs by Spanish Fork. The score now 7-3. However, we're used to seeing that from the Dons, perennial powerhouse in Region 4A baseball. They're once again on the defensive end. The second baseman getting it over to first in time for out number 1. So one quick out here.
Left fielder number 6, Kyler Murray.
That'll be Sorensen. Or excuse me, Vernon. Going back to the dugout for Uintah. Down hit, foul ball. Be Murray hitting the foul for the first strike against him. Down coming in for ball number 1. The count now 1-1 with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. Down tipped. We'll go back to the fence. And the count now 2-1. And Murray only averaging a .216 batting average with 2 runs so far in the season. Down, swung on and missed for strike number 3. So 2 quick outs for the Dons. And I can't do enough to praise how well the outfielders have been playing today on both teams, really. It's been a solid game. Obviously, it starts with the pitcher, with not letting them get any home runs or real easy hits, but a lot of these hits have been really scramblers where they've hit off the ground in the infield and they've had to get collected in time. And they've been able to accomplish that. It looks like we're seeing some communication between the coach and the umpire. Got things straightened out there. But a lot of these hits have been in the infield, have been hit off the ground, been scramblers. But the fielders have done a really good job, those including the basemen, at getting to the balls and making quick decisions to keep the score relatively low here. Down throw to the third baseman, which will get it to first in time for out number 3. So one of the quickest innings you could imagine. 3 quick outs. And we'll be headed to the bottom of the 6th inning here in a moment. However, we'll take a second to thank our sponsors once again. They are, of course, the car guys. Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lance Wilson of State Farm. Two Jacks Pizza. Mikhail Christensen Wise, attorneys at law. Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care. MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons. These guys make this possible. I think them probably do, and encourage you to check them out. Providing excellent service to the Spanish Fork area. And also invite you to follow us on our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Look for Spanish Fork 17 for any of our content that will be rebroadcasts of sporting events as well as a lot of other goods. Check us out. So getting back to the field here, we'll be bringing you with the bottom of the 6th inning. You see the coaches collaborating a little bit down there.
Heading for the Dons, shortstop number 3, Tanner Argyle.
So shortstop number 3, Tanner Argyle, is coming up to the plate for the Dons. And the Dons really in a comfortable situation here. However, if they can pull out a little bit more ahead, they can help try to get closer to that mercy rule area, try to put this thing away early, which I'm sure they wouldn't mind considering the heat. I'm sure they're all hot. I'm hot up here in the press box, and I got a roof over my head and probably a little more breeze than them. Down hit, a grounder over to second base, will be thrown to first. Plenty of time for out number 1.
Batting for Spanish Fork, right fielder number 11, Cy Nielsen.
So Cy Nielsen coming up to the plate for the Spanish Fork Dons. Down hit high. Looks like it could be caught. And the third baseman will do it. So that'll be out number 2. And those fly balls are just hard for a batter. You get a piece of it, but just a fraction of an inch can be the difference between a double or a triple and an out. So I'll bring, I believe, Newman up to the plate. Briggs Newman, that is. Newman averaging a .429 on the season. Down hit foul ball will be over the fence. First baseman will return. So we have the count 1-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Down thrown high for ball number 3. The last couple innings going fairly quickly. not much happening, just a lot of outs. Down thrown for ball number 2. The pitching by Wilkins has been very impressive in the last few innings. However, here he looks to be coming apart just a little bit as he gives up his first walk of the game.
Batting for Spanish Fork, center fielder number 20, Brendan Bradford.
They'll bring up Brandon Bradford, number 20. Bradford averaging a very high hitting percentage at .429, however, only 10 runs in this season. The impressive thing about the Spanish Fork team, however, is if you go down the line and look at all of their players, and that one hit over to third base, caught and returned to first in time for the 1 out. He'll get back to third, but not in time. But of course, they won't need it as there was already 2 outs. So that will bring us to the end of the 6th inning. The score now 7-3, advantage Spanish Fork. Join us in a minute, and we'll bring you the 7th inning. See you on the other side. Welcome back to SF-17's broadcast of this high school matchup between your Spanish Fork Dons and Uintah High School. If you're just joining us, the score is 7-3, advantage Dons. And so far we've seen a matchup fairly typical to what you would have suspected coming in. The Dons obviously outplaying them, especially as far as batting goes. However, I have seen a lot of fight and resiliency in this Uintah team as they're warming up to start the top of the 7th inning. And for the last few innings, both teams have been fairly quiet. Uintah scoring 1 run in the 4th and Spanish Fork scoring 1 run in the 3rd. However, besides that, ever since the 2nd inning, both teams have been scoreless.
The center fielder, number 1, Davis Newman.
And for Spanish Fork, it looks like we're seeing a new pitcher, Uintah Newman. He'll get his chance at the mound. Brock hasn't pitched a perfect game. However, he didn't look too much like if he was falling apart or anything like that. Must have just been a little tired, asked to come out. It is, of course, the 7th inning. Pitched a solid 6. Down thrown for a foul ball, high and over our heads for strike number 2. Down, swung on. That'll be strike number 3. So 1 out, quick for Uintah Newman. Always nice to start out good and get your confidence up as a relief pitcher. That'll bring up Cruz LeBay. Hope I'm saying that right. Strike number 1. Who's coming in for his opportunity at bat. Uintah Newman, not a frequent, relief pitcher for the Dons. Down thrown in for strike number 2, but seems to be doing very well so far today. Down thrown low in the dirt, but no danger there, no one on base. And think of having that name, Cruz LeBay. If I'm saying it right, that is a legit name. I'm just saying, like, you're walking in to a room of people. What's your name? Cruz. And that one's hit by Cruz LeBay. He'll get to first base.
Third base number 20, Brandon Slaw.
Ryan Slaw will come to the plate. So far in the inning, 1 out. A fresh count here for Brandon. Down thrown just a little low. Newman checking the first base to make sure his runner's not taking too far of a lead. Down, also thrown low. Ball number 2. Now thrown inside for strike number 1. Nice to get that first one. We'll see if he can keep this going. Newman so far, though, coming in and showing some confidence as relief pitcher. Down through for strike number 2. So it's all evened up here. Brandon Slaw, I wouldn't say he's one of the powerhouses for Uintah, but had a lot of runs in the season. He'll get to first base, and his teammate will get to second. Slaw having, as I was saying, 13 runs in the season.
Right fielder number 7, Ryan Case.
That'll bring up Ryan Case for his chance at bat. And they'll have a quick meeting there at the mound. Talk a little strategy. Umpire getting something given to him by the Uintah team member. Looks like it's Don Olson. Down hit. It'll be a grounder. They'll get to second and over to first. And a double play. 2 outs. That will be the end of the top of the 7th. The team all goes out to celebrate. That will make the Dons your Region 8 champions. So finishing this one up with a score of 7-3. An impressive win by the Dons. They'll go and congratulate the other team, and we'll go and take a quick break here. We'll be back with a little bit of a game summary here for you in a moment. Welcome back. We see the Spanish Fork team celebrating there as they're just locked up the region championship. And you see the Uintah team going to have a huddle real quick and discuss how they played against the elite Spanish Fork team. And I just want to do a quick summary of this game and talk about some of the things that we saw from both teams. And really we saw a lot of resiliency from that Uintah team that you see there. Doing some great fielding for the powerhouse hitters that we see on the Spanish Fork team, and even some fairly decent pitching as they held Spanish Fork to only 7 runs, which last time they scored 18 on that same Uintah team. Spanish Fork should feel very well about their defense, however, as well, as they had excellent fielders, and for both teams avoided a lot of extra runs that could have been scored just through quick decision making. They got to all the balls on time, however that's done in many baseball games, but the quick decision making, obviously that last play getting the double play, and that's why I'm going to have to give the MVP to no particular player. So today it will go to the entire fielding crew for your Spanish Fork Dons, doing a great job today. And of course we saw some good pitching from Brock as well as Newman there at the end, especially Newman able to close that one out. An impressive feat here at the Spanish Fork ballpark. And so with that, we will let you guys go and hope that you will join us for our next broadcast on SF17. Your final score between the Spanish Fork Dons and Uintah will be 3-7 advantage Dons. Join us next time, and we wish you a wonderful evening, and till the next broadcast.